Welcome to How TikTok. Actually, right now, before we start, I'm actually going to go live on our TikTok so all of our followers can see what we're doing here as well. We're going live. So welcome, everybody. How TikTok can change your business, the story of Just Baseball. Before I get into it, my name is Peter Apple. I'm 24 years old, and we actually created a company from TikTok, and it's kind of my dream, and it was just a shot in the dark, and now we're here. So what is Just Baseball? Basically, when it was 2020 during the pandemic, and I called my friend Aram because I was working for the Yankees in their season ticket sales department, right? And it's kind of hard to sell season tickets in a pandemic, as you can probably imagine. So I give him a call and I say, dude, I just need to get out of this. It was my dream to work for the Yankees, went to Syracuse University, studied sport management, but I just felt that I had to get into the baseball media space. I really wanted to podcast. I really wanted to jump on TikTok. I really wanted to create a baseball media company because I felt that if you look across the landscape of how baseball is covered, I don't know if you guys are big baseball fans, but the people who, the MLBs or the ESPNs of the world, they're kind of old fashioned in a way. Like they don't really apply to the youth. That's the biggest problem in baseball. But then there's also others like John Boy Media. If you guys have ever heard of him, he has the biggest baseball podcast in America, but they don't have a website. So we thought that we could create a multimedia brand through TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, with our website, and then a podcast network. So while the MLBs and the ESPNs of the world are focusing on journalism, they're focusing on the game, while the John Boy Medias of the world are just focusing on podcasting. How could we do everything? And we got our start on TikTok. So basically on April 1st, I jumped on the app with the goal of just to grow our brand, really. I started doing kind of not gambling advice, which was my, it's my gambling pick. So I do 3 picks a day on TikTok, and it's funny. It's just starting because I'm wearing this leather jacket, right? And I look like this weird rock band guy for no reason, but I wore it because every single time I would win 3 picks, I would wear the leather jacket. So, but basically back to Just Baseball. So the plan was we were going to start on TikTok and hopefully grow from TikTok to our website, get people just interacting on a consistent basis. And the goal was to have 1,000 followers by the launch of our website, justbaseball.com. And kind of losing track, my bad. Basically, I'll just get into what is TikTok basically. So Musical.ly was this popular short form lip syncing app, which had 100 million users until August of 2018 when they eventually closed because it was just lip syncing. It wasn't a lot of humor, and then it kind of died away. Vine has 200 million users, but it just kind of lost its steam because it was 7-second videos that were really popular, but then again, it just kind of lost its steam. So what is TikTok? Basically, it's the most downloaded app in 2021. It has 1 billion active users, and it's growing day over day. As you can see on this graph kind of right next to me, Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, WeChat are right now higher, but TikTok was launched in 2018, and it has basically changed the game of how you can get in front of new eyes. Because when you look at all the different social media platforms, Instagram it's not dying, but there's certain things with these apps that you can only get to your own follower base, right? You accumulate as many followers as you can on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and you disseminate your information to your follower base. So that's the goal, to build as many followers as possible. On TikTok, why it was so incredible is the implementation of the For You page, which is basically a new social media way to get in front of new eyes. So you don't have to have enough followers to get in front of 700,000 people, for example. So that's why I started with the goal to jump on TikTok, because I was like, wow, this app is so freaking addicting. This app is so addicting. It just draws you in. And I felt that we could fill a niche on TikTok through baseball analysis, because there just wasn't that on TikTok. So we jumped on, and our goal by the launch of our website was to have 1,000 followers. But then we had 55,000 followers when we started at April 1st to June 22nd. And then everything just kind of changed. But to bring you kind of back, because I kind of skipped over this part, to bring you back, Just Baseball, when we first got our start, Chris Longo is sitting in the audience right now. I came over to his apartment because my roommate said, hey, I know you're starting this website and you're starting this podcast network and you're starting the TikTok and stuff. You should talk to my friend Chris. He runs Den of Geek, which is one of the most popular pop culture websites on the planet. They do 11 million users a month. So we had a Zoom call, and I was like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to jump on TikTok. We're going to basically disseminate all of our information through Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, and then hopefully if enough people follow us on these social media, they'll go over to the website and then go over to the podcast network. So we tell them that. And like I said, that's basically what we did. And Den of Geek now has basically been an enormous helper, helping us kind of basically be a business while we just make content day in, day out. And so move on. So yeah, TikTok and Just Baseball. We started April 1st, like I said, and I started making 3 picks a day on TikTok. But we were also clipping from the podcast. I was making reactions through Twitter and doing different kind of analysis about baseball, because like I said, there was no really big kind of brands on TikTok at the time. And the reason I have the Gary Sanchez dilemma up there, because that was our first viral video. Because at the time when we started, we didn't really know how to use the app, right? It was just completely, organic content. And so that, as you can see, it has 80,000 likes. But we only had probably 80 followers at the time. Like, you're not getting 80,000 likes on anything if you have 80 followers on any app. It's just not going to happen. Possibly the YouTube algorithm does really well with that, but in general, you're just not going to get to that point. And then everything just kind of started to pick up, right? By being consistent on TikTok, posting the 3 picks a day, consistently posting content after content after content, that's how it just started to grow. And the consistency was what was most key. So I want to talk to you guys about how to TikTok, basically, because I think most people now know about TikTok, and they know that it could help grow a business and how it can change a lot of people's lives. I mean, if you just go on the app, there are people with now millions of followers who are just organic and they do their own thing. And now they make millions of dollars a year by just posting content on their phone. So how to TikTok. So that's our TikTok page right there, at Just Baseball Fans. And if I were to kind of start over, I would pick a subject, because unless, and I don't mean to be crass, unless you're really, really attractive, you could just kind of do whatever you want. But if you really want to build a brand and you want to talk about something, it's much better to pick a subject. Like we picked baseball. Because if you're all over the place, people, when they're scrolling through your TikTok page, they're not really going to be able to understand kind of what you do and what the value they're going to get from your page. So they might just scroll off and not really care. So that's why I always say I harp on it. You have to pick a subject, something that you are really passionate about, something that you're really good at, that you can talk about for hours, because at the end of the day, TikTok is 15 second, 60-second videos. So you don't have to know a ton, but you have to get your content out there in the best way possible. So what I mean by the hook and the best way possible, the hook is the first 3 seconds of your video, right? The first 3 seconds is the most key to developing your TikTok and having people engage with you. Because if they're not engaged in that first 3 seconds, they will just scroll. So there's a lot of cool hooks like, oh, I learned this and I teach you, or it's hooks is more of like a question of what the video is going to be about. So for example, when we're ranking top 10 catchers, for example, I'll start with this guy is one of the best hitters in the league. He hits a lot of home runs, and his name is Will Smith. And then I talk about Will Smith. So it kind of gets you into the scheme of the video. And then the music, which the music is so important because a lot of people use different trending sounds, and especially for bands that want to put their music on TikTok, music is your friend. We put like the violin soundtrack kind of behind all of our different TikToks. And now that's kind of become something. And that's so when you hear that violin, you know it's one of our sounds. So that's what's really helped us too, is like just little things at the beginning. The sound and the hook will let you know that instinctively, like in your head, that this is a Just Baseball video. Hashtags are something that's really important. And it's funny that everyone wants to use, like, a ton of hashtags. You want to use all the trending hashtags. But the problem is now with the TikTok algorithm, your video can get lost in translation if you use the wrong hashtags, right? So we have kind of started trending away from using them because I don't want TikTok to put my video into a hashtag that I don't think might not fit with the video. So for example, if I post a video about Gary Sanchez on the Yankees, if I use the Yankees hashtag, it's going to go to Yankee fans. But maybe I want it to go to all baseball fans. So that's why when you're first starting out, it's important to use hashtags to find your right audience based on the niche of your subject. But then as you grow, I would suggest not using hashtags as much. And also something that's so important, and we're live right now on TikTok, is going live. Like going live on TikTok is one of the most important things because you create a relationship with your fan base by talking to them straight away. So I've been going live on TikTok now for 5 to 6 times a week since April 1st of 2021 as a way to answer questions, talk to the fans, and just because I love it. I love doing it. And if you're going live for your business, it's a way to feel more human, right? It's humanizing. You see the person, you get to ask questions straight on. And you see the next thing is trends. So trends are on TikTok. They're like the 7-second things that a lot of people are doing. And maybe there's a trending sound, and then a lot of people jump on and they just follow those trends. And those can be helpful in the short term to help you grow. But if you're just kind of copying people, it's not really going to help you build your brand. So it can help you gain followers if people think the trend is funny, but then what really is your brand? Like, what really are you? Because if you're just kind of following trend after trend after trend, why would I follow you when I could just go look at all the other people doing that same exact trend? And comment sections is really important. Living in comment sections, replying to comments. Also, if, like, let's say we started a baseball media company. Let's say you want to start any other company. Go to those other brands that are in your niche and live in their comment sections, basically. Like comment, engage, reply to other people's comments, just so people in that niche know about you and they might stumble on your page as well. And the biggest point on how to TikTok is being as consistent as possible. You have to be consistent. Consistency is key. Like we post 4 to 5 times a day, every single day. Like that's the reality of the business. You got to be consistent, because if you go a week without posting or a couple weeks, TikTok will then view it and they're not going to reward you as much if you're not as consistent. So now we've realized, because we were doing 1 a day, maybe 2 a day, maybe 1 every 2 days. But then once we realized, when we started posting more and more, the algorithm started really liking us more and more because they felt that we were consistent, and we were consistent. And that's the biggest thing about TikTok, is consistency is so key. And I want to play a video for you guys about brands and TikToks, because this is one of my favorite TikTok accounts. His name is JT Barnett. And I hope we can hear the audio out loud, because it's very important. But if we can't,
Isn't it crazy how multi-billion-dollar brands like Gap, Allbirds, Kellogg's, Fitbit, Warby Parker, and even Abercrombie have little understanding of TikTok?
Let's talk about this. So it actually isn't the biggest brands in the world that don't understand TikTok, because there is some good examples like these ones right here. But what's separating the big brands that do it good versus the big brands that have no idea is really the people that are in charge of marketing in the chain of command. Typically, big businesses have a lot more employees, which means there's a lot more approvals. A lot more approvals means that it kills the creativity and the time that things get out. So if big brands aren't allowing the people that are running their social medias to have a little bit of free reign and do what they think is going to work, then a lot of content gets stuck in that approval process. That's also why a lot of new startups pop off on platforms like TikTok and Instagram, because they're willing to create videos like a creator, not like a company. Big business mixed with great creative, that's a recipe for success. Big business, no creative, that's a dying brand.
And so there's a lot of things about this video that I first want to touch about, just how he, first of all, I'll get to his message, but just how he started this TikTok, for example. So what he did is he stitched this video about this other TikTok, basically. And what that does, it's actually a very good strategy, because if you're a big account, people want to see what you have to say and respond to that video. So that almost acts as your hook. So as you continue to grow, it's actually very good to stitch other accounts. And a stitch is on TikTok, you just press the stitch button and you take the first 3 seconds of that video. And as you can see here, when he even moves into this, see how he has the bit, it's very easy to comprehend his content, because he'll put the main message above him so you can read it, as well as he is right in front of the camera and he's talking. And the big thing about a lot of these videos too is that people think that on TikTok you have to be so well presented and you have to have the best video editing, but really the most organic content is me on my phone just sitting right here and talking to the phone like he has. I mean, this video itself has 6,000 likes. But just talking about, let me get out of this for a second. So before we get into that one, so basically what he's talking about is his strategy for brands, right? And his strategy, basically what he's saying is these brands that have this enormous chain of command, they really just aren't doing the best job on TikTok, because the idea of TikTok is posting multiple times a day all the time. And a lot of these brands, you have to go through the chain of command a ton. So for example, a startup like us starting on TikTok, we were able to, I'm the director of content strategy for Just Baseball and one of the co-founders. So I'm able to just make content organically and we're able to push it out without having to go through a chain of command. And so if I was strategizing for a brand, basically what I do, like I said, I would pick a subject. You got to be posting 5 to 6 times a day, at least at the start. Like you can even be posting 10 times a day. There are accounts that are posting 30 videos a day and they grow like nobody's business. Like I said, find other accounts, live in their comment section, become friends. And it's funny, a lot of brands that post TikToks, they are curious, like, why am I not engaged? Why is there not engagement? Why is there not comments? Like, there may be likes, but there's not comments. Are you responding to your comments? Like, people, are they in your comment section? Are you connecting with them? Because then they're much more likely to comment again because they're feeling heard. And it's not just about feeling heard. It's genuinely, a lot of them are asking good questions that they want you to answer for them. And then what I would do if I was kind of starting over, and now I've started to develop my niche, right? I'm posting 5 to 6 times a day. Then what I would do is I would start to reach out to brands that align with your subject matter, basically. So for example, like the Not Gambling Advice, we're reaching out to gambling companies. We also, on justbaseball.com, we do MLB, we do college baseball, we do fantasy baseball, we do MLB, minor leagues, college, fantasy, gambling, and trading cards. So we wanted to encapsulate everything within baseball, like not a lot of companies do, because they either focus on MLB, they focus on just college, or they focus on gambling. We really wanted to encapsulate it all. So by encapsulating it all, we're focused on baseball, but we're branching out within baseball. So we want to find brands that align with each one of the verticals. So for example, in gambling, reaching out to gambling companies. In trading cards, reaching out to trading card companies, like an eBay, for example. Or if for college, reaching out to a virtual reality, a Win Reality or something like that, where college baseball players are using that sort of material. So reaching out to brands that align to make end up making posts for those brands, because what TikTok can do, you can advertise on TikTok. So for example, like we might post a TikTok about eBay and say, we think that you should buy these cards on eBay. And then eBay, of course, gets the branding, and then people trust us because we've developed this baseball brand. So we're the baseball people, like you're coming to us for baseball knowledge. And then what also I would do is I would make sure that I'm repurposing the material on all other platforms. So why I think Just Baseball is now so successful and is now a business is because we started on TikTok, but we're putting little keys. Hey, go follow us on Instagram. Go follow us on Twitter. Go follow us on Twitch. We also have a website. And then we also have this podcast network. So just going back, kind of recalibrating it, or circling back, basically, Just Baseball is a multimedia brand where we're disseminating all of our baseball knowledge. We podcast, we have called the Just Baseball Show, where we're podcasting 5 days a week. Like I said, consistency is key. I have another podcast called Not Gambling Advice, where we're doing fantasy and, of course, gambling. And I started that podcast as well. So that's 3 days a week. And now we have other podcasts now on our network. One with our co-founder Aram Layton, who I was talking about at the beginning. Now he hosts one with Jeff Conine, who's a 17 MLB season guy. He was an all-star. He was an all-star MVP. And now Just Baseball, like it started with two guys, Aram and I, and now we have 18 people on staff who are writing for us, making edits, with interns, of course. And it's just become an actual brand with the help of Den of Geek and through TikTok, being consistent on TikTok. So we're just posting from every other angle, stuff from our YouTube, stuff from podcasts, Twitch, Twitter, everything. So then, I can see on the TikTok, like I may have tweeted something and then I'll stand behind my tweet and I'll basically kind of break down the analysis of that tweet. So what I'll do from there is then, I see that that's the Just Baseball Twitter. I'm going to go follow the Twitter. Or just like stuff like that. Just making sure that you're on every single platform, but using TikTok as the driver because, again, of that For You page. And from that For You page, you can get people to stumble across your content that you would never have seen before. So that's why TikTok really can change your business, because right now I'm a 24-year-old with a growing business. And without TikTok, that never would have happened. We would have had to grow on Instagram, just accumulating as much followers as we can, or Twitter, and then that just wouldn't have grown. So now, for example, like my Just Baseball show, that podcast is top 20 in the United States for baseball. And that just has completely changed. And we're now sandwiched in between of MLB.com and ESPN and Barstool Sports, but we don't have the large media backing, but we created it through TikTok. And that's what you and your brand can do. And I think why it's so good for startups, like he was saying, is because you get to get in front of eyes that you never would have gotten in front of. And there's a lot of brands who aren't doing a good job because a lot of them is very high edited content. Maybe they can't use trending sounds because they're a brand, and they use a lot of different people, because it's not the same as Instagram, right? Where I can do a dual post or have someone famous kind of tag me, or just have like a bunch of different famous people on an Instagram, and that's cool to follow. But on TikTok, people follow for organic content. So a lot of different brands, if they're posting a lot of different stuff, it's not very valuable. But if they have one person making their content, that's what's been really successful, because people on TikTok buy into that person rather than your brand. And then there are other really successful brands that have implemented that type of strategy, been really consistent. They may have a young guy or girl who is making their content for them. Like one of the TikToks that he showed that was doing really well is Ryanair, which is this airline company. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ryanair, but they actually do a phenomenal job because they make like 7 to 10 second funny videos about their planes or about people who work at the company. And it makes it more or organic. It makes it, I can believe in that company. I'm seeing people's faces. It seems human to me rather than a big edited show that may look better on Instagram and may be more pleasing to the eye. But on TikTok, I'm swiping right by it because I'm tired of that. I'm tired of what we've been seeing on Instagram. And I think a lot of people are, and that's what's led to the rise of TikTok, is that people just want to connect with other people and it not be too much too in their face. So that basically does it kind of for the presentation. I'd obviously, of course, if anyone has any questions, you can follow us on all these different social media channels. But yeah, just in short, TikTok has completely changed the way we do business. And I think it's going to be the next, I mean, it already is the next great social media platform, but we're still in the infancy of it. We're still in the infancy of it. Like you guys saw the numbers that, you know, it has 1 billion downloads, but Facebook is at 2.39 billion, and Instagram is higher, but those are falling. There's a falling. So if you think, oh, maybe am I too late to TikTok? You're not late at all. You're not late at all. So for example, like we're live on TikTok right now, and like people are leaving questions, and so yeah, that's basically it. So if anyone have any questions?
Well, I'll bring around the mic here.
Yeah, thank you. I got a lot of questions, but I'm just going to settle on one. Yeah, because originally I was not interested with TikTok. I think anyone who's as old as me might have been encouraged by your kids to do it.
Yeah.
I tried to do it for music. Now I'm doing comedy on it because my music did not go. But when I started doing jokes, everybody wanted to know. My question was to do with what you said about music.
Yeah.
Because I tend to do it where I find a song that's trending, then I put it there, but I put the volume down. And apparently the algorithm will read it. Then I put whatever I want.
How has that worked for you?
It seemed to be working now. I mean, to tell you the truth, I've struggled with TikTok because when I started, I only had 10 people, 10 followers. And then I started doing this comedy thing. It's like about 340 people. And interestingly, when I post something there, I always get 234 views. I don't know what happens, but every single thing I post is 234 views. But the same video, if I send it to Instagram, I get 30,000 views. So I'm still sort of like working hard on it.
It's interesting. It's so you're saying you get 30,000 views on Instagram, but you're struggling to grow on TikTok. That's actually, I haven't really heard a lot about that. Did you already have a big Instagram following and then jumped on TikTok? Or did you start both at the same time and Instagram has just worked better for you?
Well, I was using Facebook, Instagram for music, my music, to promote my music. And then my son said, you could use TikTok, which I thought was just for kids. So I decided to do that. But any of my music, people really not interested.
Yeah.
And then I started doing this comedy thing. It's where I use emojis, those little characters. One time I'm a giraffe, one time I'm a lion, and so on. So that when I started posting on Instagram, even my followers increased. And I've never had like 40, 60,000 views on my videos, but these are getting that much. But on TikTok, I'm still sort of like really very struggling.
I think if I were to go into your TikTok and see kind of how you're posting, for example, there's specific time, like TikTok is the algorithm is so important and you got to nail it because you can have an amazing video that's 8 seconds. But TikTok likes 7-second videos, or TikTok likes 10-second videos, 15-second videos, 30-second videos. So you can actually have a great video that doesn't go through the algorithm because maybe the hashtags are off. It's not going to the right audience. Maybe, for example, if you're using a trending sound to push out your music, maybe, for example, if they want to click on that sound to hear more, they're getting sent to that trending sound. So they'll just then lose it and they're on TikTok. Like they don't care. They'll just start maybe scrolling through that trending sound because maybe that trending sound has a lot of really cool videos. Then you just lost that video. And also TikTok will ding you for that. For example, like if your video and it has someone lead you to somewhere else, it can ding that video. So I would say for music, especially, a lot of music artists have gone they've exploded on TikTok, and you go to their music and they've made hundreds of videos, different kinds of videos, more organic, relatable content using their music. and using that trending sound. So when you, or not using the trending sound, using their music. So when I see the title of the song, I can go and I can click on it, and then I can go listen to it on Spotify. So I would say the biggest thing is posting as much relatable content with your music, like posting a ton, and I'm telling you it's going to pick up that way. I would focus on making 7-second videos or 10-second videos or 15-second, really like sticking to those guidelines, because then that's how all these music people grow. Like there's a lot of these popular songs on TikTok right now, and this 7-second aspect is something that's really popular because TikTok for some reason loves 7-second videos, and they might hear it in 7 seconds and be like, oh, wait, I want to go hear more. That's exactly what happened for our podcast, is that the videos weren't long enough, but they were just engaging enough to make you go want to listen to our podcast, which is like now an hour long. So, and that's how Just Baseball is. So we have the 15-second to 60-second videos on TikTok. We have some minute to 2-minute videos on Instagram. We have the hour-long podcast. So you can kind of, and then we have the website. So, and then all the different age groups, right, as well. So TikTok skews younger, but maybe our podcast network, it skews older. Maybe the website skews even older than that. So we can disseminate to every kind of age group for Just Baseball. So I hope that kind of answered your question.
Hi. Yeah, about you said TikTok kind of punishes you for leading them away from TikTok, I think you just said. How do you repurpose your content? And do you find that it's effective to kind of like you said, you'll tweet something and then you'll stand behind that and kind of expound on that? Is that kind of how you do it? Sort of like idea by idea, and you'll just kind of push a few things out on the different platforms with that one idea? Or do you have another strategy to kind of like put all of your content, like I don't know if fans get sick of seeing the same message on different platforms, or you're not even concerned with that because different fans are on different platforms?
I think that's the point, is that different fans are on different platforms, and we've seen through just the growth of our, for example, now our Instagram has 89,000 followers as well. Like but we're almost like, our Instagram is different from our TikTok. It's more like pictures. Like I don't want to create the same kind of, like I might not post my TikTok video on Instagram, but I might post a picture of what that video is about, and maybe you'll swipe, and if you can watch the video if you might want to. So like on our Instagram, it looks much different from our TikTok, but it's still the same information. It's just on each app how people digest. Because on Instagram, people look at pictures. So it wouldn't make sense to just put all of your TikToks onto Instagram and basically just use it as Instagram, because it's not. They're just complete different apps. So I would say, I hope that answers your question. Yeah. Okay, great.
Hi. I have 2 questions. Part 1. So we made an Instagram or on TikTok to like capture our usernames, so like nobody else could do that for the business as we're growing. So no posts, no followers yet. What is your opinion on like mass following a bunch of people when you're new? Like should you do that? Should you focus on making more videos and things like that? Like what's your opinion? And then part 2, what's your opinion on posting at like specific times?
Great point there. So if I were to, first of all, like even on our TikTok, like we're following 18 people. On our Instagram, we're following 50 people. I can't really speak to mass following. I'm not really sure about that because we just haven't done that. And when we were talking to, other brands and other people who are successful on TikTok, they never mentioned that as something that they were doing either. It could be helpful, especially like what I was saying about living in the comment sections, following people then in your niche. So you're always kind of in there. So that is, I guess, a good way to do it. But I don't know if you necessarily have to follow them or to be in their comment sections, I guess. And sorry, the second part of your question was the timing. Yeah. So timing is important because on TikTok you can see the analytics of when your follower base is more active on the app. But when you're posting so many times a day, there's only so many hours in the day, right? So there's not really, but if you're posting like 1 or 2 a day, like let's say that's your bandwidth and you can't post 5, 6, 8 times a day. I think the best times to post normally is around in the morning, like at 8 a.m. because you want to get all those people waking up. They get on their phone. Sometimes maybe 6, 7 a.m. we sometimes post because I want to get on I roll over in my bed and I'm just scrolling through TikTok. I want to be one of those first videos. Or possibly after like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. at night. That's when the way I like to do it, because TikTok shows you the timing of when people are on, but I've kind of felt that it doesn't really matter. But when am I on TikTok the most? When am I scrolling on Instagram the most? That's when I like to post, and that's generally when most of the people are on the app as well. At nighttime, during like in the morning, maybe a lunch break. So all of those different things, like posting at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday. How many people are on TikTok at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday or 4 p.m. on Thursday? Not that many people, but how many people do you think are on Sunday morning or Saturday morning or Monday morning? I mean, basically every single morning, lunch break, and then after you've had dinner and you're just on social media. So I would say those are the best times. If you're going to post 3 times a day, I would go 7 a.m., noon, and then like 8 p.m. All good.
I'm cheating because I know the business very well. In the spirit of how to grow your business on TikTok, can you speak to some of the sponsorships you've gotten and how you've integrated those into TikTok? One, complying with the rules of it, because there's a lot of challenges with that, and then 2, how you move that over to Instagram or TikTok Live as well, and what some of the brands and some of the successes you've had with working with other outside brands so far.
Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you. So we started, for example, we signed a deal with eBay for the year, and you have to go kind of through their branded content in a way. So you might post a video that says these two baseball cards are really hot on the market right now. You should buy them on eBay. So it's all about using your niche, using your knowledge of your niche to apply to these different brands. So for example, like if you're working with gambling companies, like if I'm giving away my picks, these picks are sponsored by BetMGM, for example, and this is where you can find those lines. So it's like, oh, I'm hearing BetMGM every single day from this guy. I'm going to go make an account on BetMGM or something like that. So organically, like you can work with the brands, but I always say, don't make a commercial. Don't make a commercial. Make your content and then kind of put the brand in it, if that makes sense, through product placement, for example, or just like I said, I want to. These are the best baseball cards to buy. You should buy them on eBay. I'm gambling on these baseball games. You should make your bets on BetMGM. We play fantasy baseball. These are the best outfielders to draft. This is the website that we play fantasy baseball on. And I've always felt that was the best way to integrate brands into your TikToks, because also the great thing about that is a lot of huge accounts on TikTok, like let's say they have 1 million followers, but they're only getting like 20,000 views per post, because again, you can get a ton of followers, but that doesn't mean that people are really engaging with your posts. So I'm proud to say that a lot of we get between 50 to 500,000 views per post. But there are people with much more followers than us who get less engagement. So what's more important to a brand? Would you rather more engagement or more followers? And I feel like that's where Instagram, like a lot of marketers, are just a little bit behind, because they're chasing the big follower counts instead of the influencers that are the best at engaging with their audience, building that trust. Because people buy from people they trust. And if I have this huge brand with just a bunch of people on it that I have no idea about, but they have a bunch of followers and they're big, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But if I really like a person, like I'm more inclined to trust them to then go to the eBays of the world, the BetMGMs of the world.
Just quickly add on to his question. I mean, in order to approach a brand to sponsor you and so on, how many followers do you need? I mean, do you need to be like an influencer? I mean, is there particular things you need to be doing in order to approach and be respected by a brand that you're approaching?
Yeah, I would say it definitely takes time, of course, and from the brands we've spoken to. But the thing is, that's why it's so great about TikTok, because you could have 500 followers. Let's say you're just new, but every one of your posts is getting 20 to 30,000 views. That's more valuable to me if I'm a brand wanting to spend money, that people are engaging with your posts because of the For You page, because it's just new people. It doesn't have to be the followers. So I guess a baseline 20,000 views is kind of what we've heard. You want to get over 10,000 views at least. But anything from 10,000 to 50,000 is a certain price. Then 50,000 to 100,000 is a certain price. I just feel like I said, marketers are just simply slightly behind because they're chasing the big following accounts, because that's what they're used to on Instagram, on Facebook, because a lot of people still think that TikTok is a dancing app when it's just simply not. It was at one point, kind of when I was going over Musical.ly, and that's why I was kind of comparing those, because Musical.ly started as kind of what TikTok grew into, because Musical.ly was like lip syncing an app, and you see that a lot on TikTok, people lip syncing trending sounds, but that's all it kind of was. Vine was, I quite honestly don't know how Vine failed. It had to be their management, because they really had a perfect, but they didn't have the For You page like TikTok did. You had to grow your follower base, but they had the idea, the 7-second videos. And TikTok kind of combined all of those different things, and then now has made an app where you don't need as many followers and you can just jump on. And if people like your videos, they like your videos because they're going to see it on the For You page rather than following. And that's how people find new brands, people find new music, people find new sports accounts through that For You page. And it's just so important to basically get all your videos on the For You page, because then people will start engaging with your content.
Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.